Why is it that I went to sleep and when I came out of astral plane, I literally was met with one gorilla. A gorilla, not a monkey, not a chimpanzee, not a orangutan, a gorilla. Big gorilla. He had, now mind you, I didn't see the donkey, I said Donkey Kong. I did not see the King Kong movie yet. I didn't see the preview for it. I hadn't any reference. I knew it was coming out, but I hadn't seen it. I have to give you reference because when I talk about the contact I have and what I know and found out is connected, it's gonna bug you out. It'll ape you out, okay? So I literally woke up and I was in this place with a woman who was missed. We were somewhere, people were trying to come for us, and a woman missed. She was like in some sort of like, I don't know if it was a cage or like not even a cage that she was locked up. She was kept in like this little apparatus. When she demisted, listen to what I said, she demisted. I'm in this place. There are people coming for us. I don't know who they are. I show up in an astral. So sometimes, you know, many of you know I'm super, super lucid in dream state, but I astral plane, very conscious of it. And a lot of times what happens is it's reminiscent of something or some other dimension that I do coexist in, or I'm having a memory of, or I'm actually present there. She demisted. When she demisted, she showed up as like an older, like a retro Mexican woman. I say Mexican because she had very beautiful kind of angular features, like the girls that I know, because, you know, in Mexico, the women are very beautiful, like dark hair, but she demisted. She was in a mist in like this little encasement. She demisted and she had a big rimmed hat, like covered her eyes a little bit. And, you know, like I can't explain, it's like a very retro look. She demisted. And with us was an ape man, and not an ape man, an ape. It wasn't even man, just full ape. And he had on his left arm a steel kind of like thing on his fist, like in his arm. Now what's crazy is you're gonna say that's connected to the movie. I hadn't seen it yet. And something happened where his tooth fell out, like in the trailer when you go and see the movie. I don't want to blow your spot because we'll talk about King Kong, the best movie, the best movie. If you're into King Kong, you grew up on that, it was the bomb.com. You have to see it with Godzilla. I grew up on that, Generation X. We used to watch Godzilla when we were younger, and the Mothra, that movie was the bomb. Like, I can't even believe that they did such justice to that movie. Amazing, but I hadn't seen it yet. Now, let me state this again. This was during a time where we had the live on O positives. People will call me a monkey woman. I got defensive and was saying, we're not connected to monkeys. Then they took the monkey balls vaccine, the monkeypox vaccine video off. The video was from like when they did monkey balls vaccines, right? Monkeypox. And that was like, what, 2 years ago? This video was pulled 2 a.m. while we're on Zoom. So I can see when YouTube pulls the video and blocks it for misinformation, whatever they say. You know, they always have some excuse. And the same night I go into astral plane and I have contact with a gorilla. I don't want to say it's a monkey man because it's not. It's a full-on gorilla. He does not look like a man that's a gorilla. He looks strictly like a gorilla. Now, I'm going to give you the connection because I found out who these beings are, and y'all, anyway, I want to keep on point. We have contact, the demisting, she looks Mexican to me. I knew her in this state. I don't know who she is. She demisted. She's beautiful, like really, but like, lethal looking, like the brimmed hat, kind of like in a stealth outfit. There were beings coming for us, and a gorilla being was with me. He had a metal thing on his left fist, like in the movie. Mind you, I didn't see it yet. And then something happened with his tooth when it came out during this time. I can't remember, the Zombies probably remember specifically. I should write these things down. I just kind of keep it in the lexicon of my movie. So we were trying to get out, and I told him, I was like, you're gonna have to open that door because we can't go out the back way, and it was too many of them coming for us. And he just literally like, boom, the whole door fell. So it was me, the missed Mexican woman, and this gorilla. Okay, so kind of woke up from that, and I was bugged out. Like, I was like, is this my subconscious, like, bringing this image to me? And I was like, but it was real, because usually when I'm going into astral, I do things to know if it's an actual legitimate placement, or I'm dreaming, or most times I'm lucid. So, but this was a literal place with these beings. I've never seen either one before. Didn't have a realization. I kind of just left it at that. I talked to the zombies about it, kind of mentioned I was kind of bugged out. The next night, I'm astral planing again, but this time I'm in Mount Vernon, New York. It looks a little different. It's my old home. Big up to Mount Vernon. Many people I know, you know, I'm from Mount Vernon, New York, right? So, you know, in Mount Vernon, over by, anybody who knows Mount Vernon, Hartley Park. I used to live not too far from Hartley Park. Many of you know. So we were in like the part of North Avenue. Anybody who's from Mount Vernon, New York, you just know. It's a suburb of New York City, y'all, for some people who are not in knowledge what it is. And two gorillas were walking behind me as I'm walking in Mount Vernon in this middle part. It's like a cross section where you go to Hartley Park. And they were behind me. Now, they weren't dressed up. They just gorillas walking upright, walking down the street like we were homies. And I was like, what is going on? And I look at them, they kind of just go like this. And I felt like they were my security. The way they were walking with me, it was like they were my security. Now, remember, y'all, I make jokes about it, but you know very much so, my biggest crush, and I don't have crushes or I don't have an affinity for most men on movies or things like that. I have I love very strong alpha, very gorilla type guys, right? And when I saw Black Panther for the first time, aloha. When I saw Black Panther for the first time, no, Black Panther, which one was it? I forgot which one. It wasn't the first, no, it was the first one? Was it the first one? No, it was the second one. The second one with M'Baku, right? Am I pronouncing it correctly? M'Baku. And y'all, I don't care what you say. You could say whatever you want. I fell in love. Like, I fell in love with this man. I saw him in the ice tundra, and it was like the middle. You saw a gorilla's mouth open. The monkey was holding up the head on a mountain. I fell in love, y'all. I was like, that is who I want to be with. I'm serious. I never had that feeling before. And I joke about it because really in itself, you know, you think about it, it's like, why would I have such a strong connection to that look? He's strong. He's wearing like the monkey and like a monkey kind of fur on him. You know, M'Baku is like real strong. Remember, he challenged the Black Panther. Yo, I was like all in. And I think to myself, only time I realized this is that when I was having this contact with the monkey beings, gorilla beings. It wasn't monkeys, gorilla. I realized that there were a lot of things happening. And then all of a sudden, all of these things started to come about where I realized, oh my God, there's all of these movies coming out right now that are connected to monkeys, Godzilla and King Kong. You've got the Planet of the Apes coming on again, the Monkey Man. You have the reference, remember in the movie, Don't Look? What was it? No. Oh God, what was the movie with the girl and she was in the desert with the horses and this being like this jellyfish kind of alien was in it? What was the name? Monkey King, thank you. What was the name of that thing? None? What was it called? Oh gosh, what was the name? Nope. Remember the movie Nope? At the beginning scene, they showed this monkey scene and nobody understood what that was about. Like if you watch the movie Nope, remember, I'm going to ask some of you, do you remember? We could not, like we were trying to strategically, I remember sitting down strategically, trying to figure out what that first scene was about. Because if you remember the first scene, do you remember when we looked at the first scene and we were like, it was a short stint. It was at the beginning of the movie, but it began and it never was interconnected to anything else. And that to me was, Nope wasn't, I don't say it was an exciting movie, but there were things in there that I think we should pay attention to. And that first scene made me think that that was purposefully put in there as a subliminal, subconscious kind of feed it in, like some sort of MK Ultra trying to put it in their subconscious a certain way. But I think it was connected to that. Now, y'all, I'm talking about the contact right now, and it's going to bug you out because remember, why are certain people here always talked about as being monkeys, not monkeys, but apes? Because really, if you hear in itself, if you hear the prejudice, because we'll say, oh, it's prejudice, why are brown people always called apes? They're not called monkeys, they're called monkeys, but they're always called connected to the gorillas. And then y'all, the uploads started to come. I talked to Daryl, big up to Daryl, y'all. I realized these beings are here. Now, I had contact with them. It's heavy. And last night I had to make this video because I had contact again. And I was talking to Daryl. Big up to Daryl, Sunstar, in our group. Let me explain something, y'all. And remember Donkey Kong when we play? I love Donkey Kong. Any of you used to play Donkey Kong when you were younger? I love Donkey Kong. I could play anybody. But last night I had contact with the beings again. And I say this to say that I personally think that the reason why they're setting up all this apocalypse, because remember, it's pole shift time, and it's everything came to me yesterday. Yesterday during the eclipse, all these epiphanies, all these uploads or releases of codons of information came whooshing. I mean, whooshing out like a lexicon of like everything in your cells. Waking up and I was like, oh my God, oh my God. We've been told about certain beings and given certain names, and they've always connected brown people to gorillas, not monkeys, because monkeys, like if you look at chimpanzees, they look more Eurocentric, like the spider monkey looks more Asiatic, but they always interconnected brown people to the Kong being. And then if you remember, y'all, do you remember when we used to, like, those who are older, because my brothers might have an older brother who's like 8 years older. Remember the black and white King Kong that was in New York City? Remember they took him from the jungle where he was like in there, they were worshiping him. And then remember they took him and they brought him to New York City. He climbed up the Chrysler building with the lunar lady. And there's always this image of the big black King Kong climbing up the building with this lunar lady taking over the city and them shooting him down with the planes. I saw the one with I forgot the actress's name. I saw the one in the 80s, I think. The Empire State Building, thank you. I saw the one in the 80s where I forgot her name. She was a really popular, beautiful lunar woman. Do you guys remember her name? It doesn't matter, but she was in, they brought her and she was like a sacrifice. She was looking all sexy and they had her arms, like, remember, they put her up as like to a Laura Kong because, you know, and we kind of thought it was like a sublime. Jessica Lange, she was a really pretty woman, right? Jessica Lange, did she transition, y'all? Really pretty lunar woman who played this part. Faye Dunaway was the older one, right? Jessica Lange was the one who was in there, remember? And they used her as bait to attract Kong. Like they tied her with the vines, kind of very like Jane in the Jungle kind of thing. You know how you get like Tarzan and Jane in the Jungle, kind of like that, like alluring him. And I kind of at the time thought that this was like some sort of subliminal thing to cause for brown men to be attracted to lunar women, kind of like putting that in the subconscious of the, you know, the people. But it was deeper than that because there was truth in this, and I'm gonna bring it around, y'all, because if you look at the French Polynesian Islands, I have the pictures on Zoom. I'm gonna show you the pictures I found, like these 30s, I don't know if it's 1930s or 40. Y'all, all of this information is coming out. Okay, so we have all these representatives on the movie, cinema, networking, kind of connected to, oh, Jessica Lange, she was on American Horror with the witches, right? I forgot. She still looks good, right? Jessica Lange didn't really age. I don't know what kind of plastic surgery, but it's not really plastic because she looks almost the same. You know what I mean? She looks she might be like a NPC. She might be one of those like retro, you know, Westworld kind of Robotoys that they kind of keep looking the same, but she looks really good still, right? Okay, but when I'm having contact with these beings now, at the same time, they removed my monkeypox video, same day. I had contact that night, and then we have some phenomenon that's showing up. Now, coming to bring up, I'm gonna bring in other things that connected, because when we talk about the beings that were in the French Polynesian Islands that were reminiscent of tall giants that look like monkey beings. They look like they were connected to monkeys, like the wider nose, kind of like the gorilla, not monkeys, but like gorillas, tall beings. And then I had to think of all the stories of Sasquatch, of Bigfoot, and them saying that they never tell you. That's why you got to be careful with these so-called whistleblowing narratives, because they don't want you connecting it to people that they see are depreciative. Because if you're calling people gorilla people, ape people, right, and you're making that seem like it's a deficit, it's something lower, right? You're making it seem like that's something that is a lower. You're trying to diminish someone's worth, or you're trying to create a way of seeing them as sub-tier humans. You don't want to associate something that others have an affinity for as being connected to those beings. Because when you talk about all of the museums and all of the old houses in New York and England and in France that had pictures that they've taken down of the hairy Marys, beings that had a whole bunch of hair all over their bodies, right? And then you go into all these experiments. I talked about working in the field of genetics, right? You know, that you work in laboratories. I worked in a lab, and in the labs, my lab didn't work on chimpanzees or monkeys, but you know, most of your labs, and still today, they do dogs, cats, rabbits, especially white rabbits with pink eyes, but they do experiments on monkeys. Many of you used to see them back in the days. They don't show it anymore because people have such an awareness and a compassion for animals more than before. So, am I being inappropriate? Something wrong? Listen, y'all. Okay, let me just break there. I know where I stopped. I'm not showing anything. I have bosoms. Listen, I'm not wearing anything crazy, y'all. You don't see any nipples. Stop already. Please, where are all my admins? Can you block these people? Because I see it in the comments, and at first I was ignoring it, but you're disrespectful. It's disrespectful. I'm a woman. I have breasts. If a woman was flatter chest, you wouldn't have that conversation. I'm not showing anything. My nipples are far from view. This is my chest. Stop it. If you can't be mature enough to have a conversation about extraterrestrials or beings, you have a problem, okay? Why don't you cover up, okay? When you go on and you're showing your beer bellies and your nasty hair all over your chest, no one's telling you to cover up. Cut it out. Get out of the feed. I need admins. Hold on, y'all. Okay. No, I think they sent them. I really think they're trolls. Where's my admins? Hold on. I know Star is here. Hold on, y'all. I don't want to make... Thank you for, okay, thank you. Let me see. I need to see if some of my zombies are on here. I can't just make everyone admins because I don't know everybody. Star did it, thank you. Okay. All right. Okay, I think we're fine. All right, let me go back. So we had all these museums, we also had like, predated places like where you go and they had images of these hairy people, right? And you hear the stories of like Sasquatch and Bigfoot, right? Or the Yeti. Yeti's more like white fur, white hair. But anytime you've heard of the Sasquatch, you always hear that they're highly melanated in their face, right? And it's crazy because if you look at the gorilla, if we looked at an image of the gorilla, and let's say the gorilla was bigger, like when you see the front, and I'm gonna show it on Zoom on Thursday, because I couldn't do it, I didn't do the Zoom today. Yeah, I know, Star, they're very perverted. It's sad, no, it's not perverted, but it's like immaturity. It's like, you know, when a woman is natural, they'll demonize her, but you get people who are getting fake boobies, who are up to their neck, and obviously it's popping out and it's up in their neck and nobody says anything about it. You know, it shows the consciousness, and even with the so-called eclipse, they're not up leveling. Okay, they're not even upgraded. So even the fact that males aren't able to control their self-awareness, that also shows lower intelligence, also very primal intelligence, because you should be able to overcome that, especially when the conversation is something that isn't connected to that. Okay, I'm not going to change my dress because you have a lack of ability to be able to see a real woman in presence and not be able to, you know, speak in her physical form. Okay, it's really sad. And if you have daughters or nieces or sisters, this is what you're bringing that karma to them. Because when you're unable to control yourself and have some level of maturity and self-restraint, it means that you in your life will experience that in a mirroring effect through your family. And then you'll see. When your sister comes home and says a man hurt her or hit her butt or touched her breast that wasn't warranted, you will experience it, okay? because I'm somebody's mother, I'm someone's daughter, and I'm someone's sister, okay? So just the fact that you do that is really sad, okay? Especially if you're coming from the extraterrestrial, it just means that you're not even in that life. Okay, let's keep it going, okay? So when we talk about the Hairy Marys and Sasquatch, and you've heard images, even when they show images of Sasquatch, it looks like an ape, y'all. It looks like an ape. I'm gonna go further, y'all. It looks like an ape. But you know what's crazy with that? Now, as I had contact, now I realized that they kept, now, even when I'm talking about like M'Baku, and M'Baku, I had a super duper attraction to this being. And now there's a scene with M'Baku from if anyone can find it for me, the picture, please, please, I'm looking for it. They've taken away like some of the things they don't want you to have a cellular memory. M'Baku, my attraction to him was so insane that I realized that when I was having contact with the gorilla beings, they are reminiscent of some beings that I must be in contact with or have some sort of alliance with because of the way they were showing up. And the fact that they showed up at a time when I was speaking about O positive, it makes me think, is there some link to the genetic DNA that's why they called us gorillas? Because really in itself, when you're talking, well, what's the howler? When I was in Brazil, the howler is big, almost like a gorilla in Brazil. When I went to Brazil the first time, I remember when I told you we were trying, big up to Paola. Paola took me to the jungle part of Brazil, big up to Brazil. And I told you there's some issue. I'm gonna go to the topic, but I wanna share where I'm building all these things from. So when we first got to Brazil, we're going into the jungle and listen, there's like off-roading, it's like floods. It's like something you see out of like Jumanji. You know what I mean? When you're like in the middle of the jungle. So we're driving in, it's crazy. It's like potholes with like big rivers in it. We're driving through and I'm looking in the trees and I'm seeing these big, huge black, these black something in the trees, like all the way up. And I was like, yo, Paola, she was like, oh, that's some sort of ape. But it was big and it was black, but it was up. Didn't see them very often, but I noticed when we got there, I saw that. And remember when I told you when we got to the house, it was a house that was just built. There were monkeys that the day before all the time in the house we stayed in the middle of the jungle. It was beautiful. It was across from a horse farm. And the days before, the monkeys at the house would always throw coconuts at the house, the owner of the house, right? He was every day. The monkeys threw coconuts at the house, or they would go and throw rocks at the house. So when we got there, they told me, like before we got there, oh, there's monkeys around, just give them bananas and kind of a piece to them, right? So I was excited because I was like, oh, this is good, because you coming from the States, we don't have monkeys like that. We have squirrels, rats that look like big cats. We aren't connected to that. So when I moved to the house, the monkeys weren't there. And then I noticed that there was this thing that the monkeys stayed totally away from the house. Now, this is connected for those who don't know. Hey, Delmache, those who don't know, I talk about this, and also for those, if you want to follow the journey in Brazil, I'll be documenting it in Brazil and South America soon, because I'll be back. So if you want to see that, you look at my other channel, Fleur, Brun, Above the Firmament. So you can subscribe to that channel, because I'll kind of talk about, it's so much fun. That's a channel that I think is more lighthearted. You can see my travels in South America. You know, Brazil is like my first home. Remember, you know, my family is originally from North Brazil and French Guiana, which is Cayenne. So remember I talked about my return anyway. So when we went to the house in the jungle, the monkeys would not come to the house. So when the owner of the house, the builder of the house came, he was like in shock. He was like, I don't know, it's something, I didn't have dogs, I didn't have anything, and they're used to dogs, you know, stray dogs. I'm in Bahia. Big up to all my Bahians. Bon tarde. No, is it? I think it's afternoon. Tudo bem? So, you know, first day we're there, he doesn't understand why it's happening. He's like, oh, okay, maybe it's because you're new. And then we were there, and the monkeys literally, if they saw us, they were running away. Like, they literally left. So in my mind at the time, because I don't know, Paola was with us, I couldn't vet it out. It's our first time in Brazil. I'm back. It's a genetic thing. Remember, I freed my grandmothers from this ethereal realm that was like sub-tier up top. It was beautiful. And, oh, somebody's messing with me. You made my earring fall out. Stop it. Okay. Rumble, my Rumble video is fine. It's just hard to upload videos there. That's why you don't see me there often. It takes too much time. And I'm a little lazy. I don't really have time to do that. So on Thursday, many of you will see I'm going to show you the pictures and the video of the Polynesian giants that look reminiscent of the apes. Okay, why I'm gonna bring this up? Because it's all interconnected. So anyway, I was in Brazil, it happened. Then I go back to Brazil, remember I went and moved there, right? When cucarachas came, living up there. I'm living in another house in the middle of the jungle. It's a tropical jungle. Many of you saw the home, it's beautiful. We stayed there for, I don't know, most of the year. And again, the monkeys, you can hear them in the distance. They're afraid of us. They're afraid of me. They won't come near the house. There's something to that. No monkey will come near me. So then I started to say, like, why would the monkeys be afraid of me? I'm telling you, y'all, it's coming, because I'm going to tell you why my contact with these apes is probably the reason why the monkeys in Brazil did not want to come near me. So remember, we had contact with the beings in Brazil. Also, I'm going to record the beings because they keep calling me back to Brazil. Oh, you're going to love it. I hope I capture the actual ships in the air. That's going to be a lot of fun. So again, go to subscribe to Fleur Brun Above the Rim. That's where I record all the videos in South America, because it's too much I don't want to put it here and mix everything together. So again, I'm in Bahia. The monkeys are afraid of me. They won't come near me anywhere I go in Brazil. I go to one side and then I go to the other side, an island off of the coast of Salvador. It's like 4 hours out of Salvador, an island. The monkeys wouldn't come near the facility. The people on the facility were like, there's monkeys every day. Ever since you came here, the monkeys are not coming here. So listen, y'all, I could not vet it out at the time. I didn't know if I smelled differently. Sometimes pheromones are different, but there's a lot of Americans that travel, a lot of brown Americans, especially around Salvador area, there's a lot of brown Americans. So it's not to say like I smell differently, we're coming, and my family's from the region. So why would they be afraid of me? So finally, we went to the south of Brazil, more Porto Alegre, and also to São Paulo. Big up to my São Paulo people. Loved it, loved it. We will be back there to go to We Coffee. We're going to be having fun in Salvador again. My children love Salvador, so I'm going to be bringing the whole family there again. We went to Salvador, and there's these spider monkeys. We stayed, remember, many of you know I was in Salvador. I stayed on the mountain because it's just, it's safer. Anywhere I go with the children, we stayed on the mountain up in this town. It's in Salvador, but not Salvador, São Paulo. It's like we stayed in a German Dutch house, like a triangle. Is beautiful. And I was excited because there were spider monkeys that would go every day, and you could see pictures and people who stay at this B&B. It's so cool, right? And these weird clicking bugs that sound like they're taking camera pictures of you every day. It's I've never seen anything like this, y'all. I've never seen anything like it. Every day there was a bug in the sky. I don't know what it was. Who's from anybody from São Paulo? Can you tell me what that bug was? Because I don't know what it was. Every day we go click, 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 like it was taking pictures. Every day, up in the mountains. I don't know what it was. I try to look it up. I've never seen anything. Or they had roaches that fly that were iridescent, that glowed. I've never seen anything like that. Skinny roaches. I know it's creepy to you guys, cucarachi, but they were like paparazzi bugs. I don't know what they were. If anyone's from Brazil, can you tell me what they are, please? Because I don't know what they are. Anyway, so we stayed up there. There were spider monkeys on this house in São Paulo. And no, they weren't cicadas. They were flying like click, 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 click. I don't know what they were. So we were staying up in this. No, they weren't cicadas. They flew in, and when it was hottest, like normally the bugs, because it's so hot, they wouldn't fly in the heat like that. I don't know what it was. I don't want to sidebar. It was confusing. What did it say? Fleur flies? Maybe. Oh, Sovereign maybe knows. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Can anyone block Star Rose and Delmache? Can you block anyone who's talking about my boobs, please? If they talk about my boobs, or they say for me to undress, or they say anything like that, block them, and I'm gonna ban them from the channel. So if you want to be disrespectful, you're gonna be banned. Okay? Be a man. That's why we leave the country, because men abroad, they're used to women that are natural form, natural hair, natural boobs, and they don't have a problem with it. That's why maybe the United States is being taken down, because of the lack of respect you have from women. That all shows, because if I was a woman, I'm not showing boobies, I'm not showing too much. When I walk out in the street, people are not doing that. But I live around more people who have more self-control and self-mastery. Okay. So anyway, I went up to the house and the spider monkeys that were supposed to be there never showed up. And I called the owner and I said, hey, you know, we were looking for it because we saw them. They said, oh, they come every day. They'll come up to the door and you can go and talk to them. So I waited, and every day. So the owner, I said, come over here and see if I'm bugging out. You know, he was mad cool. We were staying up in a mountain, so it was cool. He came up and he stayed for a while because he had to fix some things in the house. And he was like, why? He couldn't understand it. Like, they would not come to the house when we were there. It was done. Like, that's why I say, y'all, I'm building the story of my contact with the ape beings that are here now. And it's gonna bug you out because you've been lied to, and the beings that are here, you don't realize they're here and others are coming to pick them up. Remember, we think it's the end of our cycle and we're waiting for us to wake up and be picked up. Oh no, y'all, we were not the only ones that are here. So the Olmec heads all around with the caps on, that if you look at the movie Planet of the Apes, the gorillas always have this hat that's reminiscent of the Olmecs. They lie to us. These are those beings. Anyway, so I leave Brazil. Monkeys are afraid. They won't come near the house, okay? I realize why now. When I had contact from that video I made, and maybe it was something that was blocked for me, maybe because I spoke against the apes, maybe it was something that I was defensive of. So it opens an ability for me to understand that I am part of this group. I come from a place where they come from. Remember when we talk in terms of Planet X, Nibiru, the Dark Dwarf, there's many different beings on that planetoid, that hollowed out planetoid that's a planet, but it's really a ship.